are. Make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heistlick and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. Shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. What is up, everyone? I thought it was muted for a second, and I took a deep breath and was like, oh no. It's your main man, Frank Castle, your sorcerer supreme on Fearless, and right here next to me, on my right, my etherical translator.
Hey, everyone.
Paula Milo. What's up? It is snowing.
It's snowing so hard here in New York. It
was 55 degrees the other day.
Yes.
I had shorts on in the house. We had every window open. We couldn't breathe. We were like, what the hell is going on here?
I know. And now it's a winter wonderland outside.
Oh, my. And all the cats are in the house right next to us.
Yeah, so if you hear meowing or hissing, that's why.
It means it's go time. Special shout-outs to Chris and Cherie Gio. We love you very much. Thank you so much. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. Stick around for Beyond the Veil up next, and we have the best Saturday night in radio. Shout-outs to my man Ra. Shout-outs to my man Jimmy. Shout-outs to my man Brent. Shout-outs to everybody else. It feels great to be alive.
Yes, it does. And it's funny that you should say that, because these last few days have been really, really good days.
I can't even believe... I got to tell you something. I took a picture of it. I'll put it up later of X marks the spot chemtrails, right? And I was walking on the avenue and I looked up and I said, wow, those are X's right over Pelham Parkway. And I was thinking to myself, I guess it's going to snow, but it's almost 60 degrees. And I was thinking that what would happen if those chemtrails and those clouds weren't there, and 5 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock I think it's around 5 around here, it's so bright. I wonder what's going on. I wonder what they're hiding, but I kind of know a few of the things that they're doing with their multi-pronged attack with the chemtrails. They're just trying to distort the information that's incoming from the sun. So if you're collecting information and they put up fractals as a shield in front of it, the information would come down like a laser beam and then refract off it and then hit everyone, and it would come through as jarbled information.
Yes.
Like I'd get a piece, you'd get a piece, he'd get it. Nobody knows what the hell's going on, though.
Message is jumbled.
Yeah, so that's why we have to come together this way with the I am, we are. I mean, we are that, but that's the trick we're using against them. You can fractal it out all you want. We're finding each other. We're doing it. What have I done this week a few times? I'm booking people again. Things are going on again.
Yes, we're back. We're getting back into ceremony time.
So Nicholas Zervos, you've come into my life and done many a beautiful thing. I want to give you a shout out. I have a megalodon shark tooth in my hand.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Right, and I'm like, those who are following the microdose report that I'm putting up in the Fearless TFR group on Facebook know that I conquered my fear of the sharks. I rode them in, and the big one came and ate me, and then I became him, joined with him, and then rode him into the sunset, into a new experience where the sharks became my they were like family, and they started attacking. These beings were attacking me, and the sharks just came into the room and swarmed in and attacked everyone in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so shocked. I was like, whoa, that's pretty awesome. And they're like, well, we're family. This is how family rolls. And it seems to be like a heavy definition that's been coming in lately, like family. Right? What have we been doing a lot of lately? Family things.
Yeah, a lot of family stuff. Your
Right.
family, my family.
It's been interesting, right?
Yeah, it's been, once Sunday evening passed, it's like the energy shifted or changed because we came out from under that cloud we were under.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys, let me just throw this out there. So last week when I talked to you on the show, I think I had said I went down a few times, had a rest, and things weren't right.
Yeah, it
And
was
then
a pretty
during the
rough
week,
Yeah.
it got worse a little bit and then got really good.
Yeah,
right? So
it started Sunday evening into Monday morning. It like everything snapped back and like went back to normal. That heaviness wasn't in the air.
I think it was there was like a half lunar eclipse, and that was like the exit portal for a lot of upgrading and going into the new area, the new space time that we're moving into.
It was a big upgrading issue because I mean everyone was feeling it. I mean even your mother felt it a couple of days.
My mother said
last week.
Yeah, she had something with her sister, and just like every other family storybook novel that you read, sisters have issues sometimes or whatever. But my mother's like the ultimate archetype of a mother. And she rarely breaks down and cries, but she has heavy compassion, so she cries when it comes to that stuff. But she was like, yo, man, I was losing it. She goes, I was a second away from picking up the phone to call you because I figured I don't know if anyone else is going to understand this, but you guys, like, I don't know what's happening. And then just like that, I pushed it out with the cry, and then everything went back to normal. But it wasn't back to normal. It was upgraded and changed. There's a new way of thinking. It's a new understanding of how to deal with a situation that's very difficult to deal with to begin with. And these are the challenges right now. We can go to war. You want to go to war? Let's go to war. Or we can just be like, no. No more war.
But I think whatever was happening last week is now over, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a reflection of what's been going on.
Yeah, because once Monday came, it was Sunday into Monday. And then Monday evening into Tuesday, it was like everything changed and everything is now going the right way. We had a really good couple of days. A lot of laughing, a lot of being silly, a lot of lightheartedness.
The weather changed at the same time.
Yeah, the weather changed.
It rained, and I said, this is a clean rain today. It feels good to be in this rain. I don't say that often because as a kid...
because of the nanobots.
Yeah. Well, all right. So Dummy Frank, right, when this all started, cleared himself during an ayahuasca ceremony of the AI, then went out in the rain, opened my mouth and was like, oh, the rain. And then went back in and had to purge out nanobots because the next thing I went into was being hijacked. They were like, bro, you just loaded yourself with it from the rain. And I'm like, are you serious? And then I got the whole download of what was happening with that. Right. But I've also learned it's in the synthetics. It's in the clothes you buy. It's in the products we use. It's in the food you eat and the water you drink. It's everywhere. It's in stuff you wouldn't possibly think that it would be in. That's how small they are. And you close your eyes under I'll use mushrooms. You're having a mushroom trip and something looks real, like it comes through as not the other side in the spirit world or whatever. You just see something floating like across your eyes with your eyes closed. And you're like, bro, I could see that with my eyes. Like, what's going on here? It doesn't look like it's part of the situation. Is that like when you close your eyes after you looked at the light for a second, you can see like different. All right. So I had laser eye done. So when I look at the sun for too long and then close my eyes, I could see the target they drew on both of my eyes.
Your eye, yeah.
Okay. So when I'm turning my head, the target turns with me. Right. I got used to this. Something flies through that target sometimes. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Like I got my eyes closed. That's within my energy. That's a breach of my field, but it's a physical object that you can't see. And they go, take a closer look. I'm like, how the hell do I take it? And as I'm asking, it comes up close and it looks like a little insect robot that's doing its job of monitoring you.
Yep.
And anything it comes to contact with. So I won't say it's just me. It's everyone. I see it in everyone. I could see it in the people that purge it out and do all that stuff. It's rough times ahead, but beautiful times ahead. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. I've heard it being referred to as the coming of the soaring 20s instead of the roaring 20s, which is what our ancestors went through. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I think there's going to be huge, huge weather changes because I think they would have already been upon us. I think Antarctica would have been like melted already. And it would be hot right now. There's no way with the sun that we had the other day, it wouldn't be 80 degrees outside. And it's February. That's pretty weird. So either the Earth is off its tilt and we're in a new climate zone. Maybe it, what do they say? Flip the poles? The poles flipped? What do you think about that, Ethereal Translator? Does any of that resonate with you?
I don't know if that's.
I don't usually work it out on air, you know.
Yeah, it's really not a big concern for me right now because I think we're moving into an ice age, but I think it's going to take hundreds of years before anyone feels the effects of it. But that's just my opinion.
True, but this is what I was getting at. What if where we are now on the planet is in a new climate zone due to the way the Earth refixed itself, and we never noticed it, but we just went through some weird changes. So how do we know, like, the poles didn't flip, and right now we're in a place that's going to get weather like Florida during our winter?
Oh, we don't know.
Right? We don't know what's happening because they're covering it.
Yeah.
Right? You got a veil of illusion by a dominator faction causing us not to see, for one. Then they're playing with their own version of the illusion, the storyline they want you to believe. So they spray the skies and tell you, no, it's winter. And you're like, look, I think winter's over, dude. Like, that's a 90-degreer. It's been a week straight. Like, I don't see how you can avoid this much longer. But every time that sun comes out and there's no natural clouds, there seems to be chemtrails bombing us. So that's another grid. So you got an illusion grid. You got a grid, my man, doing it. And then you got your own body and the programs that you deal with.
Multiple layers that you have to get through. Frank needed to run and get coffee. Hank, hold please. I would have gotten it for you.
No, it's cold out, and it got really cold for a second, so I had to just run up and get coffee. No, because this is important stuff. Listen, if I'm going to tell the tale this way, I'm drinking coffee.
All right, good. I would have gotten it for you, though.
I appreciate that. All right, so all this is happening. Meanwhile,
one of the chat room folks just ran and got a beer.
Yeah.
So we're okay.
Meanwhile, another distraction takes place. It's horrible, a shooting. Listen, I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to give life to any of this stuff, but I do want to tell you this. Look, a distraction. My heart goes out compassionately to everyone that was injured or part of that didn't know. But
the shooting in Florida.
Yeah,
you're talking about.
But it's a distraction. All right, because when you're worried about that, we talked about this. You're not concentrating on what's happening around you. Worry about all right. Mind your own business for a little while. Guarantee yourself you're going to mind your own business for a little bit. Turn off the TV and don't get involved. Observe. Do not make a reactionary outcry. And if you do, when you're done, review it. Ask yourself why you did that. Why? What are you doing? Bring it down a notch. It's a distraction. That's why every news media is pumping it. They said there was 18 school shootings this year, mass shootings. And I'm like, no, there hasn't. We just started the year. I think there was like one or two. And then what happens the next day, right? All the news is doing what they're doing. Everyone's screaming false flag, right? And then Ben Shapiro releases a video saying there's not 18 school shootings. What is the media promoting? So I'm just showing you from a different perspective. Hey, take a look at this, right? Objectively, and just say, what is the relevance in what's happening now? I just told you a giant change over the last week has occurred. We just went through the ending of a shift, and most of you, all right, so my friend died of a heart attack and then fell and hit his head. So they don't know if it was the heart attack or if it was the shot to the head from, and yes, another friend of mine passed away. He was 45. Okay. But he had cut himself at work and they were treating him and his blood was poisoned.
For a staph infection.
Yeah. And he didn't know and he broke into a sweat. His wife said he had a heart attack, hit his head. Another one of my buddies did not die. Father of 9. 44 years old. I know that's crazy, right? But and then they check him out and then say he thinks he needs all kinds of stents put in and everything. And they were able to clear him out with that balloon. Mm-hmm. They just shoved it through. And then they found another one that was blocked. And they were like, yo, if it would have went like another week, you're dead. So he's like, I had a heart attack. And then they're like, oh my God, look what we found. And then they blew that out. He's 100% fine. Stop smoking. Instantly, he's like, oh, I want a cigarette, but my family's more important.
Oh, your life should
so
be more
2
important.
heart attacks in the exact same time. Yep. Now, I'm going to tell my story more as the next episodes go, but I've been in the microdose sessions. The other day, in the worst time, I was like, I have to go lay down. I can't even stay awake. Each day I progressively was just worse every day, right?
Yeah.
I lay down, take a deep breath. I'm like, what's going on here, man? And there's a being standing there. He's like, guess what we're about to do? I'm like, what's that? He goes, I'm going to stop your heart real quick. And I go, do it. And I'll just tell the quick version. And I took a deep breath, let it out. When I hit that last breath, I couldn't take another one. My body was dead. And then, boom, lights back on. Everything came back on. And I went, and my heart was beating in rhythm all of a sudden, because I was having heart palpitations for 2 days. And he was like, as the earth shifted and things changed, the rhythm changed. So your body's not in sync with the energy of the earth right now. You're out of sync. That's why you were slow, sluggish, depressed. We moved into a new zone and you were not prepared to get blasted right in the face with the new energy. And you did. And you'd been doing all the work, right? So guess what? We're stopping your heart.
Right.
So that's 3.
Reboot.
3 in those 3 days that I know of.
Scary.
I'm like, wow, those who can't hang in there, they're out. Like they want out. I did my job, I'm gone.
They want off planet. They may not even know why.
I'll be talking about
planet.
Exactly. I'll be talking about how I seen my friend too. He came to me multiple times. Those who read the microdose report already know the story, but he was fine. And I'm like, but you're a dad and you're this and you're that. And he was like, yeah, I'm all right. I did everything I needed to do, fulfilled all my contracts, did everything that's needed. And now I'm right next to you helping you. And he yells all the time. So he was like, come on, man. And I'm like, oh, that's him. I was crying and he smacked me and said, stop crying, baby. And then he did it again to like blast me. And then the being that was waking me up, the one that was in front of you the other day, he grabbed his hand. He said, that's not the way to do it. And he goes, I know, but that's what I want to do. And he's like, yeah, you're not there anymore. And I'm watching this go down from standing there like, were you just going to punch me in the face and he stopped you and then now you're complaining because you wanted to just throw that punch because that's how me and you used to roll? Well, we used to drink when I was a teenager. I used to sit in his house and his mother was like, you guys are animals. And there'd be like 5 of us around a table. And the 3 of us would sit together. Me and my best bud Dom and him Chris, we would sit together and everyone else would sit away from us. Whoever came in would sit away and they would just pass around bottles, whatever that was there. So their mother had the thing that my mother had. If you're going to do anything, you do it in my house, right, in front of me, so I could see what you're doing. Right. So we were like, all right, fine. That's what you want to do. We're coming in. We're drinking vodka. Oh, okay. Dumbest idea. I lost 2 teeth to this game. All right. Let me tell you what, they lost teeth too. Don't mistake nothing. All right. But I would sit down and I was the smaller of all of them.
Nothing like that ever happened to me.
And they would go drink it. And I would take a giant and then shoot it down and pass the bottle to the guy next to me and then get punched right in my face, like right in the cheek area. Right here. I'm showing Paul, look, right here in the cheek area or on this side. And then sometimes you didn't know which direction it was coming from. But then the guy who punched you would stick his face out like, no, go ahead. It's your turn. And he would take a swig of whatever, and then I'd punch him in the face. And this went on for 2 summers.
That is absolutely
So when people tell
ridiculous.
me that I have concussions, I have this, I go, you have no clue what I went through in this world. That the doctor looked at my MRI on my head and he was like, do not ever take another shot to your head. And the next day, Grayson accidentally, purposely jumps off the couch, drop kicks me in the face, and knocks me dead unconscious. He was like 5 or 6 years old. And the doctor was like,
no, he was about 4.
Yeah, he was like, are you all right? I said, man, I've been weird for 2 weeks. And then I was afraid to drink ayahuasca. And then I just drank, and she completely went, nope, we're going to heal this. And then when I had tests done later, they were like, there's nothing wrong with you. I'm like, well, something's going on in here. And they're like, there's nothing wrong with your head at all. And I'm like, all right, well, that's good, because then check the crazy guy off the list. He got hit in the head. He had all these concussions. Doctors are like, he's fine. Check. Go. Leave. Next. I'm like, wow. And just like they were showing me every session, whether it's mushrooms or DMT, my intention is to push forward through this path. And to do that, I have to be in a certain physical form, just like everyone else that's going to do this. So your brain's got to be right. So if it was wrong, the wounded healer has to heal his wounds. And you literally heal your wounds. This is what we do. It's why you're here. I haven't looked over at the chat room. I wanted to stay focused on this because I love getting involved. But I'm sorry, this message needs to come out. All right, so I love you guys very much. And I know the judgments are going to start flying over the next few episodes. But kindly hold them in. Watch the video and then make the comments there. I'm going to read you something from my notes from last week that we already talked about, but it's already summed up. All right, so the microdose day 1 strain is the golden teacher. By the way, shout outs to Jeff, super shaman. Went to the gym and I started to feel everyone's fears. It started as a pressure that slowly began to squeeze around me. After a few minutes, I could see the fears as well as some thoughts that were troubling other gym beings. Had to step out for some air, gather my thoughts. I centered myself and I returned to finish my exercises. I went shopping and continued to see the fears of others until we sat with some older people at the bagel shop. They were enjoying themselves. Everything changed again, and I can see hope in others' thoughts. It was pleasant to see the other side again. Day 1 was awesome. I remember talking about that last week. Mm-hmm. Where in this week, we're actually now, because it didn't start last Saturday, so the numbers are off. We're in day 13 or day 12. Tomorrow's day 13. Mm-hmm. I think it's over on Monday. Right, so Monday's my last session. A couple of times I've wanted to give up and just not do it. I was fine. I just want to sleep. I want to do this. And somewhere in there, you've seen how I got with writing these reports. Mm-hmm. It became, I have to do what I have to do. Like, this is me, right? Like, me writing this isn't me glorifying what's going on.
Well, I think it was therapeutic for you also, because I watched you sit down and write these reports each day. So I think it was very therapeutic. I think it's good to document the things that do go on, so you do have a record of it. You know, we recall things.
Different than
we
the
don't
show.
remember everything when we're talking about, when we're talking about the past. We might not recall enough information. So it's good to have stuff documented like this.
I never thought it would be this important. Day 1, I just read you the entire day. After that day, after that next day, it turned into something different. Mm-hmm. Just like I say at the start of my show, it turned into something so much more, than I could have ever prepared for. It became important to jot this down in a specific way to keep it short, simple, sweet, to the point, enjoyable, factual, truthful, not adding stuff to it, right? It doesn't need it. I don't need to add to it.
It's a pretty accurate recollection.
This isn't me creating sci-fi fantasy. I go live a day and then come back and report on it, right? And sometimes I spend the next day writing the report first thing in the morning while drinking coffee and going under. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. But by far, the greatest thing I think I've ever done for myself, and by sticking with it and pushing through, I'm going 14 days. My problem is I think I'm going to stay on it for a while. That's what I think my problem is going to be, because I feel great. Today I didn't feel, all right, so when you get that trippy feeling, that, oh, I'm tripping, oh my God, right? Like that left a few days ago, right? And I started feeling like that when I mean, how much is a microdose and how long is it supposed to last? All I know is it's 6 o'clock at night. We've had dinner already. I'm on my 10th blunt or something. And I'm saying to myself, oh, I'm still here. Like I'm literally still here.
Because I think for you, it became more informational. Once you got over those first few hurdles, I think it just became like straight up information that you were receiving.
It's not what you would say a mushroom trip is. We're not at Pink Floyd anymore. You know, the machine isn't bouncing around in front of me. I can see it. I can hear it. It's a machine. I understand it. I know what's going on. I'm very aware of all of my surroundings, all the information that's coming in. I'm thinking 10 steps ahead of the program. I thought to myself tonight, how am I going to bunch this up and really give it out in hour episodes? And I'm like, it's got it. The symphony's going to play, and I'm going to strike those notes, and we're going to start when we come back from the break, hitting the big notes now.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that makes you say, wow, like this isn't snakes flying through the air with Mother Ayahuasca clearing out your chakras. We're talking about interdimensional beings and light warriors, so much more. We'll be right back. This is Fearless, your protection from deception.
We are TFR.
My faith in destiny is all I need to prevail.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Am I awake or is this a dream? It's a dream. It's a dream. A fantasy of where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world.
What's up, marbles out of my mouth. What's up, everybody? We're back. Just want to give you a quick reminder and shout out. Bitcoin, if you would have bought low and held on through the last dip at $5,200, you would have now doubled your money, been able to cash out your initial investment, put it back wherever you took it from, and then had that much in Bitcoin. Just wanted to let you know. The future's coming, whether you want to believe it or not. Your susu money, as my mother would say, could be your new car, your new house, your house. How about this?
Or
how about your
payment.
place paid off?
Yep.
Whatever it is you decide to do something. Don't do nothing.
I would like to thank the Fearless family for all of the very kind birthday wishes. It was truly, truly amazing. And I do feel very blessed because I do.
Yeah, that was an amazing.
I do feel like
out.
you are family. Thank you.
When we first started this, Paula was like rarely on Facebook ever. There was a couple of cat pictures up. And I told her, I says, oh, the rock star's coming. Here it comes. I'm right here. And she was like, yeah, whatever. None of that stuff.
You didn't even want to be my friend on Facebook when we met. we had arguments about that when we first met. But and then when we did the show, we had to become Facebook friends because of the promos for the show.
Well, now think about this. You're admins on stuff. So you made it. You're in.
Yeah, I'm in. Woohoo.
Rockstar Paula.
Thank you for the birthday wishes in the chat room.
No, but yeah, I was sitting back in the morning and I said to her, have you checked Facebook? There's not one like from you on anything. And she's like, what are you talking about? I haven't had a chance because we were busy the whole time.
Yeah, well, it was a great birthday morning. Frank's mom came by in the morning. We had coffee. My uncle was in from PA, so he came by in the morning.
I was tripping balls. My mother was here. It was great.
We all had coffee, and it was just in the morning, and it was just laughing and being silly. It was just a really good morning.
Yeah, it was definitely awesome. All right, so shout outs to Paula for her birthday. Yay. Guys, check out IamWeAreFearless.com. IamWeAreFearless.com.
Yeah, the website is really cool. Really cool.
IamWeAreFearless.com. Yo, these artists are relentless. They have the best art. It's awesome. And I see all the art that's coming.
Yeah.
They can't just unload all of it at once. It takes time to put it up.
Yeah.
So as we're going through this and we're growing and we're beginning and there's so much already on there.
Yep.
Here it comes. And guess what? Serge is back from his from out in Thailand. So we'll be having him on the show soon to figure out what he did for the last month of his life.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
But that also means that things are going to get into high gear really soon. And we have really big surprises, and I can't wait to tell them.
Yeah, but check out the website. I mean, we have
IamWeAreFearless.com.
Frank and I have T-shirts.
IamWeAreFearless.com.
Frank has a sweatshirt. We have a pillow.
The pillow is awesome. It's sitting right there. Everyone loves the pillow. They're like, what is that? It's the floating castle.
It's just really cool stuff, and it's affordable.
And it's beautiful. That's what it's all about. All right, so I'm going to get right into this. One of the things I'm going to tell you, I've mentioned this to you guys before, and I've mentioned this to my friends before, the ones that we hang out with. I don't even need anything for this one. All right, we're going to be contactees. You know why?
Why?
Turn that microphone. Make it face you.
Why?
Okay. Because it's us. This isn't anything as spectacular as, oh, I'm Neo, I'm the chosen one. As it is this is your family, bro. Guess what? You're way more than what you ever thought you were. And it's going to happen in stages, right? So you're going to meet these characters, truly the characters from within, so you don't have issues with AI mimics and all this other stuff. There's something that's happening that no one, nowhere, nothing can stop. And anyone that can stop it doesn't want it stopped. And what I mean by that is our dominating factor, they want it stopped, but they can't stop it. That's what's up. That's why I haven't had any problems now with reptilians and all that. Like they're running. They're like Forrest Gump, and they ran, and they never stopped running.
Well, I just
it's
think
time for you to go. We're leaving that area.
Yeah, I think you learned what you needed to learn, and you moved on from there.
Well, there's still physically beings around us.
Oh,
people
of course,
don't want to admit
they're always there.
That this is going on around us. But this is all right. So they say they come in dreams, right? Mm-hmm. And then they come during meditations.
Well, I don't think we do dream when we sleep, but we also do work in our sleep. The soul does work. So I'm sure that's
why you don't feel rested when you wake up.
That's why some people don't feel rested when they wake up.
We go through this all the time. Yeah.
And
we have to actually ask for rest.
And
then we get I get 10 hours.
So if you're going to set an intention or pray, you would pray for rest, not sleep, because we are all working in our sleep, whether we realize it or not. Depending what we contracted in, depends on what type of work we do. But we're all doing some sort of spiritual work while we're sleeping. I truly believe that.
I woke up once, and it was actually happening. Mm-hmm. And I said, like, wait, don't hand me that. I have to pee.
Right.
And we laughed about it. And they were like, wait, okay, go. And I was like, no, I'll wait. And then I had to go really bad. And this being said to me, get up.
Yeah.
And I jumped up and I was like, all right, man. And I went, oh, my God, I'm back. Oh, lowercase g. I am walking to my bathroom right now. Yeah. I'm about to go into the bed. Oh, my God, it's happening. I'm peeing. And then I went right back to bed. And then as soon as my head hit the pillow, they handed me this block. And I took it. It was red, and I was putting it into someone. So I was helping, feed in the information to different beings, different Fearless family members. So I'm there sometimes. And it's been reported that some of you guys see me as well. You guys will hit me up and tell me all about it, and I laugh.
Ra Establo is in the chat room. Hi, Ra.
Paula was making the joke, so many beings coming in and out of my house, they should start paying us rent. And then this place got silent. I just want to say that.
You could hear crickets. It was so funny.
All right, so check it out. Microdose, day 2. I'm going to read this right off the page so we can cover some ground.
Don't rush if you feel you're not ready to rush. Take as much time as you need.
A lot of information is going to come out in the next few weeks. Take the ride alongside with me. Withhold your judgments until the story's told for at least the day. Right? Just
Yeah,
let's
and
flow
again,
together.
this is a story. This is a recount of something that happened to Frank. You choose to believe it or not. You take what you need from it or not.
I'm clearing someone out there.
Yeah.
I feel it. Someone in the room. All right. So today I realized microdose day number 2. The strain is Golden Teacher. So today I realized that 0.3 grams might be a little too much to stay normal. And I started to feel weird after an hour. Like it was really time to get up. I jumped up and into the shower and remembered I was microdosing. As the water hit me, everything around me began to transform. The colors were awesome. Energies were flowing from all around me. I can see the entire apartment. I was looking at the living room window when I noticed her. And I've seen her before during an IA experience. She was beautiful, and she reminded me of an elf woman from Lord of the Rings, but she was completely white. I mean, really, really, really white. She wore white, and her hair was white. Her face was white. Her arms were white. Like I just kept, the robe she was wearing was white. I was like, that's overly unoriginal, like just wearing layers of white. This is what I was thinking immediately as fashion statement. And that's the hip hop guy in me. Like, oh, you came in here, you're going to be on stage with that. But she looked great. That was the thing. It flowed. You would think with all those layers. And then she had like a silver chain or a golden. It looked like it was in the material instead of her wearing a necklace.
Oh, it was like woven into the fabric.
Yeah, woven into the fabric. And then like the design, almost like a crystal or a golden pendant with like a crystal in it on her chest. And it was active. I could see it being alive. Like it was part of the whole experience. Because when it's like that at first, you're like, is that a ghost? Right? Like you're Casper the ghost. White ghost coming in through the window. What's going on?
Right.
I'm like, okay, so I've seen Lord of the Rings about 1 billion times, right? Not my favorite movie, but one of my favorite movies. It's definitely top 3. But this was better than that. It was better than Legolas and the girl from the movie. Like, this was beyond anything I've ever seen, and they were different than that, right? So I'm like, wow. I kind of freaked out a little bit. Okay, so she waved to me, and she greeted me. She moved swiftly and directly towards me. This time, I did not flinch. She explained that she was Argathan from Inner Earth. She said that disclosure for some will be very different than what would be expected. The green light was given to start interacting with us on a whole new level. They will come in dreams, they will come in meditation, then they will come in and introduce themselves. And it is time. She began to download information into my mind, and it was a lot, almost too much. I was taking all of this information, and the door suddenly opens, and it's Paula saying, I'm not feeling well. I think I'm sick. I snapped back to the shower, and I said, are you okay? No, I feel very sick. I laughed at first, thinking that she was joking.
Oh, no, it was horrible.
Then I said to her, don't worry, it'll be okay. Wait. What's happening? Right? Like, I bugged out. I was like, hey, wait, are you okay? I was totally doing something else in the other room while I was just had my arm resting on near where the soap dish is. I wasn't there. The water was, it was like it hijacks your consciousness and allows you to just send it, right? It allows you to just expand, become more, and do more, and see more. I mean, I can't. All right, there's a couple of the Shaman, FearLess Shaman, maybe a few other out there that understand exactly what I'm saying. I've spoken to them about it, and they're like, dude, the water, bro, the water. I'm like, dude, you have no idea if it's summer out and you have a pool, go in the pool and do this. Because people are afraid, oh, I'll drown, I'll do this. No, you microdose and go jump in right now. You're going to love life.
It was a rough.
You hypercharge the water.
It was rough, though.
All right, so what you were going through
it was horrible.
Was something so, all right, I laughed at you so hard
I know.
inside the shower, and then you got really, really sick, but then I started seeing it. Well, I got nervous for you, and I stopped laughing. I was like, yo, I'm really sorry. I don't mean to laugh. All right, so I look down at myself. I see insect beings that are red. They look...
Just highlight that so you could see it.
They look like parasites with many legs running through everything. Yeah, this was pretty scary.
No.
I asked for help and I was told no. You do it. I took a deep breath, and I watched as one was on my left hip. It was moving very fast, and it was very uncomfortable. I said, no more, and began to wrestle the insect out of me. All right, this didn't work at all. I'm just going to let you know right now. Fighting these things like it's a fist fight does not work. I grabbed this thing, and it was like trying to grab Sherman that day. It was like the stupidest idea. Go up to a cat, stick both of your arms out like you're Frankenstein, and go, come here, and try to grab a cat. I dare you, dummy. And then if you get him, try to hold on for your dear life while it squiggles and claws and scratches its way out. You will let go in a second, and that's what this was like.
Yep.
Except it wasn't scratching me. I just couldn't grip it like I could. Oh, even in my spirit body, I can't grab it.
It was it was just awful.
All right. I began to relax because when I struggled, it made everything more difficult. My energy then pushed a bubble out of me and around the insect. It looked like as if it was trapped in water. Now, I've seen the movie The Abyss.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? See how that water came into the space?
Yep.
And they for those that don't know, there were aliens under the ocean, and they opened one of the airlocks, and the water was controlled and came in this tube of water.
Yep.
It was just like it was just everything with a spiral of water, and the beings can control water. And it was like all over the ship. So people were following the trail of it. And in the front was the alien. And it was like checking everything out. Well, think of that, except there's no alien. It's my water energy. And it covered it. And now got you. You got to be creative with these things. Every single thing is different. All right. So you're fighting the characters on the regular level. You throw punches and kicks, but when you get to the boss, it's like the combination punch, kick, spin, and the fire uppercut. Yeah, right. Yeah. You have to mix and match because every guy that you see is not going to be the same battle you're going to fight over and over. They're not going to just keep sending the same ones over and over to you.
No,
they're going to test you on every level, whether this is a test within the illusion and the simulation within your mind or in the experience, or like a hard reality.
Yeah, well, one of the chat room folks is saying that he puts a bubble of safety around those he loves. And I do the same thing, but I call it a bubble of protection, but it's the same thing.
Yeah, and the intention is what does it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes it's like my higher guy knows, like, okay, it's, time to use the bubble, or time to use the whirlwind, or time to use the portal.
Oh, yeah, it all works.
Like, I'll go into shock as Frank. Like, I don't have this. And then the higher guy just steps in and does it, and I go, oh, which is me anyway.
Right. Because it's the intention. It doesn't matter what exactly you're intending. It's the manner in which you're intending, which you're asking for it. So it doesn't have to be exact or perfect, because it can't be. I mean, honestly, I say the same thing. I say a bubble of protection, because at least I think, Glenda.
But this was water-like. So yeah. It's like a different energy. So right. A different bubble of protective energy that trapped this being inside of it, so I could usher it off into being transmuted, because I don't transmute everything myself. I use the tools around me and the beings around. Like, this is a team effort. Mm-hmm. So if I get the job done, I expect you to hold the door open while I usher the punk out of the party, right? Don't let me run his face into the door, then have to open the door, then pull him back out. Like, do something. This is how they teach me. So I teach it right back. Is this right? Correct?
Right.
All right. We just watched a guy on a TV show learn how to be a chef, and he couldn't yell at people because he wasn't rude and he wasn't that type. He was more of a sneaky, sly guy, but in reality, he was all right.
He wasn't. He was just a quiet guy.
He was quiet, but he was being some sneaky stuff. But when he was allowed to execute to become more, he would stand in the back and repeat what the head chef was doing until he learned how to just not copy him, but at first it was a copy, and then it became his own thing out of it. And it was really interesting to watch. And this is how we have to learn how to teach. We have no victims here. We have all leaders. So this portal thing opened, and there was like a whoosh, gone, right? I'm going to get very emotional with this next part, because those who know me, I contacted them and was screaming about it. And then I got really quiet. I didn't want to tell anyone because I didn't care. I didn't care to tell any more than the persons I told, but then I had to put it in the story, so everyone reached out to me and said very nice things. I can't thank you guys enough. All right. It was taken away. Now I was clear and can help everyone else inside the house. First, I cleared all the cats. I could see Buddy the cat. Buddy's a dirty cat. It's Joe Dirt of cats, but he's awesome. I look over at him and I'm like scanning him. I'm like, yo, Buddy, I know you have something in you, bro. Bro, Buddy, cat. And he was looking at me and he's just staring at me and he looks fine. But I could see it. Like I could sense it. I'm like, where is it? And then I'm like, hey, Buddy, could you do me a favor? And he looked right at me and he's like, yep, I'm ready. So I go, oh. He was waiting for me to activate him.
His higher self.
I said, yo, could you move over a second? And he slid like he did a dance move, just slid like he was in Grease across the floor, and it was right behind him. I was freaking out. This stuff was all over, and I'm not reading this part. It was everywhere. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not even back at Paula, who's literally purging. He moved out of the way. I could see it. Pushed a bubble around that one. Both Oscar and Roxy had many of them. I took my time and slid a bubble around the cat. Yeah, I put a bubble around each of the cats.
Right.
And as the bubble covered them and then just left, like went over them and bounced, it had everything in it. I was like, oh, that's how that works. The bubbles collected the insects and removed them from the, so they removed them from the space and they were transmuted. The giant portal was actually the central sun. I always see like the big portal and I always say to myself, oh, look, portal, but the sun is like a giant portal.
Right.
It's just a giant energy center, a vortex of energy, right? And then things that go in it, and it's there for you to put the stuff in that needs to go there. And there's a chain of command, like characters that will come out to help, almost like sanitation workers of the natural environment within the layers to actually do these things. People witness this sometimes, like as they're releasing their fears, the beings coming in and taking the fears and they're running them off. Or like we've reported, the bucket is the throw up of that's coming out of the people. The purge is screaming.
Right.
And we're like, oh, got to get this bucket out of my house right now. And they tell you, get that bucket, get up and go outside. I've had to run up the block and dump it into the sewer
yeah.
and then run back into the house real quick so they could just keep going. All right. So it was transmuted by the central sun. That's when things went crazy. I focused on Polar and these red parasite insects exploded out into our living space. I cleared Polar as she was purging and I started collecting them. Tubes of my energy were rounding up all these creatures when a bigger one leaped into my belly. I was forcing it out, but it was very difficult. I then asked, can I get beings that eat those that would eat me to come forth? As I began to purge in the shower, the answer came in the form of giant purple and black millipedes that began eating every parasite within the space. I personally transmuted some with my own light so I can get better at it, while the millipedes acted with my energies as the biggest cleanup crew I've ever seen in such a small space. It was like really crazy. Now, when I lived in Westchester, before I met you, I had a moment where giant insects were descending on me in the apartment, and there was a giant spider like 3-4 inches over my head, not touching me, but it was on my energy bubble, and it was like really eating. And I was standing under it, and I was going, why am I not tripping? Why am I not having an experience? Why am I not? And I looked up, and it was right there.
Right.
Almost like it was standing on a glass right over my head, and I lost it right there on the spot. I started crying, screaming, and they were like, what are you crying and screaming about? I'm like, do you see the size of that thing's like the size of a car? And they're like, yeah, it's an Archon. It's a spider thing that does this. And they explained it. And I'm like, all right.
It doesn't make it better.
Expel spider, burn spider, use flamethrower. They were like, yeah, that's not going to work at all. And nothing worked. Nothing I knew. So I invited in beings, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Mm-hmm. So I offered them a plate of these beings, whoever would come in and want to eat them.
Right.
And those millipedes had come in.
Right.
They came right down up my spine, up down my arms.
And they came
and then
to help,
up directly into the energy and started eating.
But they were there for you once before, a long time ago.
That's the time they were there for me. Yeah. So I was like, wow, you're really in these higher It used to be like a test and then something else, and then this is like living in the test all the time. Like it's just training wheels off, guys.
Yep.
Right? Just live through the adventure.
Look,
We taught you everything you need to know.
You're gonna
Now it's
get
time
through
for you
it, or you're not. You know, and that's up to you.
One of the moments I had, and I only have 3 minutes to say this, but I turned around in the shower after being hyper excited, and the being that was in the room when Squeak died was standing behind me. He was standing right next to me, like breathing on me. And he appeared pretty big. He was pretty big. All right. So I noticed him behind me. I became instantly angry. I turned to see the tall gray with large, round, black eyes. I remember you, I whispered to him. You killed my cat, Squeak. You took my best friend from me, and for that you will remember his name for eternity. My anger became rage. My rage became clarity. Something was happening inside of me, like a ball of energy that started in my chest and suddenly expanded outward. I looked into the eyes of the being, and my intention was loud and clear. Like the roar of a lion, everything seemed to push out of me. His name is Squeak. He is the great Kadu. I said this 3 times, each time with more intention. I stared into those dead black eyes as my only thought was, do this for Squeak. I pushed a light out of me. It came up through my lower half of my body and went into his rear to neck, just like he did to Squeak. Those who know the story about my cat, this insect-like being that was part snake and was with this gray thing, stuck his finger in my cat and said, get him if you can't, get his protection if you can't get him. And Squeak was dead in 3 days. And I'm like, we took the x-rays, and in the x-rays, I showed Ra. Ra knows this. It looks like a snake. It's the only thing you could see in the x-ray. The guy was like, the doctor's going, I can't see any of his organs. Look how bloated he is, but you see that. So from his butt inward is how I treated this thing. I cut its head off. And the consciousness of the being popped out, and I had told it, if I ever saw you, I was going to keep its head. And I was crying, and I said, I don't want your head. Come back and take it. I don't even care anymore. I don't want nothing to do with you. Don't ever come back here. I don't know what this is, what just happened here, but you're destroyed. Like whatever you are, you're done for. Don't ever come back again. If you're capable of coming back, do not, because next time it's
a wrap.
No, next time I become that warrior that you've sought your whole life to hold down. So you can take genetics from and hide beings in slave trade across whatever galactic federation bullshit you have going on. That's a higher game. I'm worried about us right now, right here.
Right.
Don't ever come back. You're not
No,
coming back.
Welcome here.
So this happens, and I'm lost. I'm like, what? I felt good, but I don't want the war, because when the war comes, we win, no matter what. And you don't want us to get like that, because that's how we crush the enemy and drive them before us. Thank you so much for sticking with us. I love you guys very much for sticking with the story. See you next week. Stick around for Beyond the Veils up next. And I love you, Paula.
I love you too, Frank.